G'day and welcome to today's model workshop. When I last left you with the Seahorse, I was in a bit of a pickle. I had these two wires and they were not suspending the model hull. I'll show you a photo now and you can see what I mean. All rather disappointing. The plan of attack that I've got is to braid a thicker wire. So I've made a video previously about how to make tow cables, and basically you get multiple wires, so in this case 3 wires, and use a drill. Let's get some focus. Use a drill to make them braid together like a tow cable, gets it nice and thick. So this is a lot stronger, 3 times the strength of these guys, and that's my plan for this. So I'm going to, fingers crossed, I hope it works, going to drill 3 or 4 holes for each of these and then braid 3 or 4 different wires together. I think I'm going to try for 4 and make it 4 times as strong, and fingers crossed that will be enough to suspend the hull and the whole thing. Fingers crossed. So I've got a drill bit that corresponds to the right size, and I'm just going to try and drill them in here. It's 1.25 millimeter diameter wire. I really hope I'm not just stuffing this up. There's the first bit of hole. I'm going to do some more. I'll come back in a tick. Right, I've got my drills holed. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got my bits of wire. It's time to glue them in, and then once that glue has dried, I'm going to attach a drill bit, a drill chuck on the top, and then turn the drill on, and that's the plan anyway. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it looks like some piece of ghastly modern art, but fingers crossed, once all the glue is dry tomorrow, I can have a go with the drill, and I will end up with a lovely, lovely twisted cable like this that's not crazy thicker than the original. That's the plan. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's the next day. You can see what a mess my workbench is. I can't wait to finish this job just to get all that crap off because, I need a fresh start. So, I have my wobbly bits of wire. I'm going to try and do this one closest to the camera first. I've trimmed them to the edges so they're all about the same height. It's probably not the best lighting for you, sorry guys. Probably not the easiest to see there. Now I don't know if this is going to be on camera, but I'll try my best. Thank you to everybody who came up with suggestions for me of ways to try and fix this. I really appreciate it. I've got a couple up my sleeve if this doesn't work, thanks to you guys. Alright, that's good and tight. Shoot, fingers crossed guys, fingers crossed. I think that's worked. Hopefully I now have one very strong cable. Come on. I don't know how much you got to see during that, but I now have one slightly ugly but workably thick cable. Got a bit dodgy around here, but I'm happy with that. It looks like a coiled tow cable, and I hope that that can take a fair bit of strength. I'm going to do both. I'm going to stop farting about with the video, do both, and then show you how it's working. Fingers crossed. By God, I think I've done it. Look. There's air underneath. I mean, it's still wobbling over a bit, but I can tweak it. I think I've done it. Check this out. Woo! Woo! I feel like David Copperfield. Alright, I'm going to tweak it. Here's the inside. Here's the base. That'll need a fair bit of fixing and disguising. They're pretty chunky wires. They're not the elegant little wires I was hoping for, but I think we're good. Fingers crossed. Let's see what I can do. Holy crap. It's worked! It's worked! Oh, I'm so happy. Check it out. I mean, it wobbles around and I've still got to add superstructure. I always suspected it would wobble, but it's worked. Oh, it's a solid, big bit of metal that's holding it up, though. It's not quite the elegant draping cord that I was hoping for. You know, I think any any vehicle draping that behind would know about it. But I guess all I can hope is to just loop lots of drapey stuff. Like, it looks like it's a very sloppy crew who constantly, you know, leave things dangling over the edge of the thing. Oh, I am relieved. Now I've got to try and blend that in and make it look as unobtrusive as possible. That'll be a challenge. This bit will sit in nicely. It won't hit the water. Just knock something off the desk. This piece will fit nicely. I am very, very relieved. Alright, let's get back to building the thing. You can tell I don't love it anymore. Now that I have sort of sorted out the suspension, it's time to get the deck happening. So here's our big empty gap. Here's my deck. Got two little holes at the back here to run the suspension wires through. Here's my non-skid decking material. Yeah, cut some holes in that, put it in there. It's all coming together. I just want it done. I've hit that stage. I've had enough. In order to take my mind off the whole suspension dramas, I'm going to finish painting my crew member. So I started this about 7 months ago. Can you believe it? I painted his pants 7 months ago, primed him, painted his pants. Last night I painted his skin tones, which I'm reasonably happy with. Let's see if we can get some decent light there. Bit hard to see, but I think we're in a good place. Let me see if I can get him on a whiter surface. That's a bit better. Obviously I'll have to paint him with a sort of dull coat at the end. I'm going to try and paint his jersey, his jumper, his sweater a white colour. White's a bit tricky. In the future I might even do a tutorial about how to paint whites. Wish me luck. Alright, I'm going to do it now. I feel like I've lost my mojo on this job now, but I'm going to power on through. It's not going to beat me. Well, I think I've come up with a solution for how to make it look realistic, having those wires draped over the edge. So up here, you can see the wires. I've painted them. I'll go into more details in a second. But no matter how hard I try, they poke up a little bit at the top there. And that looks pretty unrealistic. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll put some, you know, rolled tarpaulin or something underneath it. No, that's going to look totally fake, totally fake. So, this little guy here that I've scratch built, to get some focus, will sit on the inside of the hole, up underneath those two bits that are poking up. So I've painted it brown, I've put a coat of hairspray on. Now I'm going to go downstairs and spray paint it. And I also realised this rudder thing that I really love, when it's poking down beneath the hull, it's not dark enough because I've done all this sort of darkening of the bottom of the hull, sort of exhaust stains, whatever, and this has come off, you know, scot-free. Like, it's a little grubby, but it's not stained like the rest. And when you put it in there, the tone of blue feels quite a lot lighter. So I'm going to spray paint that a bit blacker as well. We're getting there. So we've crossed a pretty big threshold today. I have finally installed the deck. Let's get some light on the subject and have a look. So there's the scratch-built thingamabiggy I built to take the weight, the height, to make it look like those really strong cables actually have something to rest on. And there's the deck. Let's get some focus. It's pretty exciting to finally put that thing in. We're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Look at the mess of this desk. Once I finish this job, cleaning up all this crap, because look at that, that's just ridiculous. I'm using half my available space. Stupid. But I've just hit the stage of I want to finish this. It has to be done soon. When the base moves, it does wobble around quite a lot. But you know what? I can live with that. I don't know how I'll ever transport it to any kind of competitions. I don't think I can. But yeah, that's where we're at. Cool. I was also thinking of making like a little handheld spotlight, not handheld, but like a mounted spotlight on the edge of the deck there for, you know, people to look for crew who fall overboard or something like that. And so grabbed some old conditioner bottle. This goes in there. It's a pump pack thingy, and I'm thinking of using this little section just sort of here to about here as a small handheld searchlight that would go up there. Yeah, so I'm going to get my razor saw, cut it about here. Got some conditioner on me. Cut it about here, cut it about here, and then build a frame for it. We're getting there. Well, I've got my piece here, which I'm happy with. There was a great big hulking screw inside, which I didn't know about, so I'm cutting through. I went, why can't I cut through the last little bottom bit? And then I realised there was a big screw in there, because it was still full of conditioner, so I couldn't actually see the screw. So yeah, these bits will go to the spares pile, the bits and pieces pile. Going to tidy this bit up, and I think that's going to make a pretty good little searchlight. A lot of detail. Yeah, let's do it. Here's the range of bits and bobs I found in my spares that I thought could work for my spotlight. In the end, I used a piece from a printer, stuck that on the back, so that works. For the front, this is an old wheel hub from a 1/32 car, I think. That's going to fit rather nicely, so I just need to scratch build a lens and like a glass lens, and also the little bulb that goes inside, and somehow the little refracting bowl. Reflecting, I don't know, I'm tired. But anyway, yeah, that'll work nicely. And then just the frame to go around it. It's good to be scratch building again. I like scratch building, I just don't like it when it all doesn't work. I'm just busy trying to work out the best way to place my non-slip matting stuff, the non-slip textured decking. Whether I have the seam running this way or maybe even this way, I'm not quite sure. I want to have as little seam visible as possible, but I think this is probably the way to go. I'm busy working it out. Got it resting on a jam jar to take the weight of it while I play around, otherwise it wobbles about a bit while I work on it. It's fun. I'm feeling a bit happy about this now. A bit of a relief. So here's the interior deck. I've been working hard on this. I haven't given you many updates because I'm trying to make it in time for the Australian Model Show, which is in 2 weeks today. So yeah, added some bits and bobs. I've got a bit of a searchlight that I've scratch built. Let's try and get some focus. Still not getting any focus, bloody hell. Okay, just going to put it down. Oh man, come on. Searchlight that I've built. Yeah, you'll see in a tick. And that's going to go up on this mount up the back here, and keeping this other side fairly clean because that's where the engine house, the wheelhouse goes. So, time to start spray painting it. I'm rushing now. Well, rushing's not the word, but I don't have as much time for videoing because I only have so much free time and I really want to make this deadline, so I'm going to move on and airbrush. Okay, primer's on. I'm a bit worried I sprayed it too thick in the middle there. Can you see that big puddle of paint where we're losing detail? I hope that it dries thinner and I can actually see that non-slip surface. I'm also hoping that this masking tape doesn't tear off too much of the outside. Cross that bridge when we come to it. Ah! Now I have chipped the inside of the deck. So in some areas it's a lot more worn, in some areas it's a lot less worn. It's a bit tricky because I couldn't chuck the whole thing into the sink like I normally would like to. And I couldn't even, take the whole thing and hold it upside down because I just don't trust it to go upside down. So it was a bit hard. I had to sort of dip a paintbrush in water, splodge the water on, let it kind of sit for a while. So you can see there are certain areas, for example, sort of here, big one here, biggish one here, where you can almost see the outline of the water drops where they reacted with the hairspray. There's a lot less subtlety than I perhaps would have wanted, but I'm hoping a good old splodge of this stuff, Van Dyke Brown oil paints as a wash, pin wash and general wash will make it look a lot more unified. I'm trying to make it feel kind of the same as I have here on the lighthouse piece. So hopefully we'll end up looking similar. So on with the wash. I've also scratch built a few pieces to start going on the deck. So here's my searchlight that I think I showed you guys earlier. That's the body of it. That's the front lens. Goes on top like that. I built a little surround down there for the bottom of the crane just to make it stand up a little bit better. And here, I'm quite happy with this. Here I have made, it was originally a bomb from a 1/32 airplane kit, and I've made a small fire extinguisher. Just out of bits of scrap styrene and a bit of solder for the nozzle. So I'm going to bend that tube down to go into that little hole down the bottom. But yeah, once that's painted red, I reckon that's going to be a pretty passable fire extinguisher. Got to keep my guys safe. Here's the interior. Let's get a bit more natural light on there. Yeah, look, it's looking suitably grubby. I'm going to try and tone it all a bit together. I think pigments are going to help with that. Fingers crossed, because at the moment it looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast. We'll see. While I'm making accessories for the deck, I thought, I'll check out my Italeri Modern Battle Accessories. So I've had this for 10 years or so. I've just been sitting around in the, oh yeah, I might use those at some stage way. I never ever make modern armour, so I don't know why I bought it. That was $12 wasted. Anyway, Italeri never fails to disappoint. Look at the seams on these. I'm going to try and get it in the light so you can see it properly. It's really hard to show you, but atrocious freaking seams, just atrocious. The worst is this one. So I thought, oh yeah, a big gas canister, that would be amazing. Let's get some focus. Look at that. Look at that. Jesus, Italeri. This is why I slag off Italeri in my other videos, and a whole bunch of people say, oh, no, they're not too bad. No, they're pretty crap. If you can't even make a cylinder that goes together without a hole in the middle of it, I mean, the seams need a little bit of cleaning up still, I'll be the first to admit, but at the top, look, that's why I slag off the brand Italeri. It's atrocious. Grumble, grumble. I've just finished mounting the searchlight. I'm very, very happy with it. There it is. A little wobbly, but I guess it's not really meant to spin around too much. Yeah. Okay, a little wobbly, but when it sits in place, that's how it's meant to be. I'm happy with that. Looks good. Hurrah! One thing finished. Let's move on. Well, we are progressing in leaps and bounds. It's amazing what a deadline can do. So, I've installed the crane. I've installed the tyres that are hanging on the outside there. So there's two at the front, and whoa, one round on the side. And I feel like they look pretty good. They're old tyres from like a 1/24th, I think it was. Let's get some focus. No, it can't be 1/24th, maybe 1/32. Calm. I think it was a hot rod. They've got Firestone written on them. And yeah, I'm happy. Looks pretty good to me. Focus would be even better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Suddenly, it feels very tugboat, which is partly the look I'm going for. Yeah, it's all happening. Wow. Like I said, amazing what a deadline will do to you. Happy with the crane too. I'll take some better footage for you with proper lighting very soon, I promise. So here is where we're at. It's getting close, guys. It's getting very close to finished. It actually would work better in portrait orientation. But yeah, we're close. We're close. Let's do a little spin around and show you where we're at. There's a few things still to finish up. You can see I've still got to add the cover to that, but I've stuck on the stripy yellow thing down the bottom. It's wobbling. Stuck on the rudder. I've still got to do a bit of painting there on those connections. Rigged up the hydraulics there. At the moment this is just a test fit for the stuff on top. The deck house and the upper deck aren't glued in yet. The crane is in place, searchlight's in place, tyres are on, chains are on, some of them anyway. You'll notice it's still sitting on top of the jam jar. I'm not quite brave enough yet to take that away, but I will see when I have a look at it again. But yeah, we're close to finished, so I'm going to leave it there for now, and the next update for the Seahorse will be when it is complete. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. This has been a long journey. If you haven't already, please consider becoming a supporter on Patreon. It helps me to produce these videos. It helps me to get better with my editing and produce much better results for you guys. Look at the wobbly hand. Yeah, much better results. But yeah, you also get 10% off at a range of retailers. It's not just a one-way street. It is a two-way street. Thanks for sticking with me for such a bloody long time on this one. There's still a few things to come, but we're close. If you've got any comments, please chime in below. Love to hear from you. But otherwise, this is Dave, signing off. Cheers, guys. Exciting. We're nearly there. Alright, see you later. Bye.